A warm welcome to Goodwin Live. It's Monday evening, the show of the week. It's done on Monday nights now, and it's the 22nd of June. And welcome to the show. So tonight we have 4 guests on, as per usual, and I will start back end to front end. But before I do that, just to confirm that we do have boxing back on the 10th of July with the Frank Warren card at the BT Studios in Stratford. 5 fights. Including 1 title fight. David Adewale from West London, the heavyweights on. Mark Chamberlain's on. Don't expect to see what I would consider great fights on that opening card, but we have seen in the last week that they have made Lerone Richards Umar Sadiq, which is going to be a very intriguing fight. Won't necessarily be the best on the eye, but it's going to be a great fight. And I think there's going to be some really good fights from Eddie Hearn also. So we're looking forward for boxing now to get back into weighing on the 10th of July. And obviously at the moment, Small Hall is still in the same boat. But as I say, we're having good news with the vaccine, good news regarding to the spread of the virus in the UK. So let's just hope that we get some very good news over the last couple of months and we can get back to boxing sometime this year. So tonight, go back to forwards. Lewis Syrett is on at 7:30. Young man who's 7-1 in his career, 14 Ultimate Boxer. Just before Lewis is James Verbeeten, 2-0 young man who's a delight to manage, and he's going to talk about turning pro late in his career. Not often you get a manager who's managed a world champion. Well, I've done it, and one other man who's done it in the UK is Mickey Amoo, and he has looked after Richard Comey, and we're going to be talking to Mickey about his journey with Richard and Duke Meek and when he started up. But first, we've got a young man from Kent, a trainer who's making good waves in the profession. He's got a good team under him. He goes by the name of Billy Rumbol. For those who don't know him, he used to box, but now he's training and developing his own prospects. So let's have a chat with Bill. Wait for Billy to join us. Hello, Bill. How you doing?
How you doing, Steve? You all right, mate?
Not bad. How you been coping?
All right, mate. Yeah, not too bad. It's been strange old times, like it has for us all. But I can see light at the end of the tunnel now. So looking forward to being back, hopefully, to a bit of normality and getting back to what we love.
Yeah, no. Let's hope so. I mean, we don't know yet how it's going to affect the Small Halls, do we? But we'll see how things pick up. I mean, the signs are improving from everywhere. So let's hope we can get up and running sometime this year.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. So let's talk about you now, and tell me about. Obviously, your dad's been a big shot in boxing for quite a long time.
Yeah.
So tell me about how you came to get into boxing and how you've ended up being a trainer. So tell us about your journey.
So I was born into it, Steve. Like you say, my dad was always been a big part of boxing. So as a little boy, it's all I was brought up around, and it's all I knew really. My dad ran a boxing gym in Chatham for about 20 odd years called St Mary's, and then we took over Rumble's Boxing Academy about 10 to 11 years ago now. I was obviously amateur. I boxed for England as an amateur and done well. And then I went professional, but I only had 2 fights as a pro. I had a full-time job as an estate agent, so juggling the both didn't really work for me. But because I love boxing that much and I had quite a lot of knowledge about the game, always been interested in it, a lot of people just said to me, why don't you become a coach? So I went that route and have loved it ever since. So that's how I ended up sort of being a pro trainer and amateur trainer, you know.
But looking back now, how old are you now, Bill?
I'll be 29 in August. So. Any
regrets about only 2 fights?
Loads. I regret it every day. But, I could sell a ticket. I've done about 350 odd tickets on my first fight. And I've done about 280 odd on my second pro fight. But the thing is, Steve, I've always been brought up that if I can't give something 100%, then don't do it. And because I had a full-time job and the work-life balance, I just couldn't juggle. So because I couldn't give it 100%, I just sort of moved on and put 100% into my coaching now, you know.
But do you think that's still a common problem for a lot of young pros today, isn't it? Trying to juggle so much.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is, and it is a shame. I mean, lack of sponsorship and stuff like that. But I also think that a lot of young pros out there now are not true to themselves. I think a lot of it's about the social media image, and you know, they're doing it for the wrong reasons rather than the right reasons. And you know, some are out there and some are giving it 110%. Some are out there that I know that are only giving it 50%, and sort of, you know, not giving it what they should be. And that's a shame, because you can see through those fighters, and they're always going to get found out. So.
And is that because you believe that a lot of them like just being social media fighters and masquerading as a undefeated pro when they're not really? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've been around it. Obviously, been a pro myself. I've been a coach, and I'm still young, so I've got quite a good relationship with a lot of boxers as well. A lot of boxers still my age of boxing, and I can sort of see through. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of kids out there now that are giving 110%, and they will reach the top. But there's also a lot out there now that aren't giving it 100%, but they are pretending they are. And unfortunately, they will, you know, become a cropper one day. So.
Yeah. So tell us about the boys that you coach. Give me a rundown of your stables.
So my stable now consists of. I'll start with Neil, because you manage Neil, and you know Neil very well. So I've got Neil Parry, who under me has had four out of 4 pro contests. He's doing really well. He's coming on. He's gaining in confidence all the time. Obviously, his last fight was just a week before lockdown. So we was looking on to have a big year with Neil. But hopefully, once this is all over, we can get back to where we left off. I've got Martin McDonough, who I've trained for about 5 years now. Martin won numerous amateur titles with me, and stayed with me as a pro. He's now 8-1. His loss come against Danny Dark. Hacksaw come back with me, and Bradley is 4-0, and he's under the MTK banner as well.
Yeah. So you've got the 3 lads that you're looking after as you sit here today. So Martin McDonough, yeah. I watched the Danny Darko fight.
Yeah.
What did you make of that? Because going into that fight, you would have thought on paper that Martin would have been the favourite, but yet he came up a bit short. Why did that happen?
Yeah, he come out short, Steve, in that one. I mean, to be honest with you, a lot of people thought that Darko was going to blast Martin away early. It was a 50-50. A lot of people in boxing thought that probably Martin would do it, and a lot of people thought that Darko would just be that too strong. I'll be honest with you, sitting back and looking at it, we've learned a lot from that fight, because in my honest opinion, I thought that Darko would sort of fade. I thought he would gas, because he's a bit muscle bound. I thought he'd have a good 4 or 5 rounds in him, and then after that, we'd probably take over with Martin's boxing ability. But I always knew that Darko had that shot to finish the fight at any time. So I got Martin to play it a bit cute on the back foot. Darko didn't gas, unfortunately for us, and he sort of come on stronger during that fight. But I strongly believe, and we were talking about it in the gym today, if there was to be a Darko and Madonna number 2, no disrespect to Darko, because he's a great fighter, but I really think that we could do the job, because we sat down and we've gone over that fight time and time again, and we know where we went wrong, and we know what we can put right this time. And to be honest with you, since then, Martin's had 3 fights. He's won all 3 of them. He's on a comeback trail. He's getting stronger. We're working on different things. So he's only 25. I think Darko's 30 now. So Darko is probably just coming to. He needs to sort of push on, whereas Martin's still got time on his hands.
Do you regret taking that fight?
No, I don't. I don't regret it, only because I learned a lot from that fight as a coach, and Martin learned a lot from that as a boxer. So to be honest with you, no, that was probably one of the best things I've done in the pro career, because it's something that I've learned a lot from. I took a lot away from it, and even in lockdown, I've actually watched that fight twice, and you pick things out from it all the time. I'm one of these trainers that are study until I get it right. So no, I don't regret it at all, to be honest.
So what's your ambitions as a trainer? You've got 3 lads now. Is it to become one of these very big gyms and busy gyms with lots of pros, or do you want to keep it small?
Yeah, no, my ambition is to get as big as I can be. I would love to be. I'm in the gym full time now, doing one-to-ones and stuff like that. But I would love to be a pro trainer full time. And I believe, I will get to that. I'm only 28, as I say. So I've got a lot of time on my hands. I think give me another 5 to 10 years. I'm looking for a big future in the game and to be one of the best coaches in the country.
Because there is, what's happening now, I can see a changing in the guard around the country now. You can see a lot of really good, promising young trainers coming through, and the older ones now are just sort of like, I want to say on the way out, it's probably a bit over the top, but you can see there's a new breed coming in, and you're one of them, aren't you? So
yeah,
you've got a lot to look forward to.
A lot to look forward to. And listen, the older guys, we learn a lot from them. I used to be in contact quite a lot with Alan Smith of the iBox, and he used to give me a lot of advice. Terry Colton was one of my trainers.
Both great trainers.
Great people. Alec Wilkie's given me a lot of advice. Yeah. I used to be up to Lansbury every Wednesday. My dad, of course, as well. He's one of the guys that's been around the game a long time. So I'm not one of these young guys that want to do it my way. I sort of soak it up like a sponge. I learn from other people. I listen to what they got to say and add my own bits to it. And with all of that, hopefully I can push on.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Well, Bill, thanks a lot for joining us. It's been really interesting listening to your story.
No worries.
Catch up soon, and thanks a lot once again.
Thanks for having me on, Steve. Take care, mate.
Yeah, take care. Cheers,
mate. Bye-bye.
That's Billy Rumbol, a man who's got dreams and heading to the top in his training capacity. He's done a brilliant job with Neil Parry. We're now going to talk to a manager who has scaled the highest heights you can go to with the world champion in America. I was fortunate enough to be there, and then we're going to have a little chat with my good friend, Mickey Amoo. Not only a top manager, but a very, very good man. One of the best. Well, he's my best friend in boxing. So let's have a chat with him. We had troubles trying to get him on last time, didn't we? Didn't join. But please don't tell me we're having troubles again. Trying to the Streetwise Management one. See what he's in under.
Hey, Steve.
Gotcha.
How's it going?
No, but I think you need a haircut.
Yeah, I can't get out, Steve. I'm stuck indoors. I've been doing a bit of decorating.
You're normally the pristine man. Look all the time.
I know. Well, the government says we've got to stay in. We've got to stay in.
Yeah, no, it's all good. So, I was thinking about it today. My first show, we started together, didn't we? And
yeah,
we literally came into boxing the same time, knowing nobody. And we've become really good friends from it all. And first show at Milton Keynes, you were up there with George Hilliard, remember?
Yeah, got a blast from the past. Your first
ever
profile.
Boxer.
Yeah. Remember that show?
Yeah, but things have moved. Things have moved on a lot, and you're one of the very few managers that's been able to get a proper world champion and develop them from scratch. Because a lot of these managers, they nick the boxers when they're already there, don't they? You took Richard Comey from basically the streets in Ghana, didn't you? From nothing. So tell us about your association with Richard and how it all happened.
It was, to be fair, it was by chance. I mean, my son Michael was an amateur boxer at the time, and I took him and his two brothers to Ghana on a holiday to see my mum and to spend some time with the family back home. And we had a call asking if Michael wanted to fight in a tournament in Ghana because he was an amateur boxer and he was been boxing for the Ghana national team. So Michael said, yeah, I'll have a go, Dad, no problem. So we needed a gym to go to. So we got a call when we got to Ghana. Someone contacted us and said, go to this gym and book them. Never been there before in my life. I mean, it was, if you've seen any of the documentaries on Bookham, it's tough and rough and ready. Michael went down there and we trained, and Richard was there, and I saw Richard and Michael were both on the show. And you could tell from the first glance at Richard, you knew that he had something special. You knew that he had something in his eyes. You knew that and like with a lot of boxers, they need the right opportunities and the right people working with them. It's not just about talent. It's a team effort. The boxer has to have the talent, the desire, the drive, but also he has to have a good team around him. Lucky enough for me, I had you when I wanted to bring him to the UK when I had no one else. It would have been impossible to get Richard to where he was if I didn't have the help of Goodwin Boxing to help promote Richard in the UK and get him his Commonwealth title shot. Remember, we got that against Gary Buckland, and remember how hard that was and how difficult it was and how many, you know what I mean, hurdles we had to come over and how many blocks were putting on Richard. So the story isn't just about me or Richard, it's about the team and the friendships that we had all through that period. And, you know, that Commonwealth title was the magical spark that gave Richard his opportunity, because after that we got a call to go to America, and Michael King, who unfortunately passed away, signed Richard. But the journey's been absolutely fantastic, unbelievable journey. And to see you and your family there when Richard won the world title, I mean, it was just surreal, you know. It was only last year, and it was surreal because, like you said, remembering when we first started in Milton Keynes, who would ever thought that we'd be in Dallas somewhere watching a world championship fight? You know, you couldn't dream it up. You know, so it's fantastic.
It was a magical night. It was just unbelievable. I was so happy for you that night and for Richard.
Yeah.
It was it's great to see you do it, because I know all the setbacks and heartaches you've had, and so obviously Richard's going to be looking to try and regain the title again. Isn't he? He's gonna do that. But tell us about the other boxers that you've got that you manage.
Well, I've got over here. I've got Ramis Mahmoud, who you had on the other day. You know, he's again, you helped me nurture him, and as a Southern Area champion at featherweight. But now he's going to be dropping down to super bantamweight. I think we've got a fight in the making with Chris Borg, you know, which will be announced soon, hopefully. It's a tough fight for Ramis, but he'll be dropping down to super bantam, which is his optimum weight. You know, and he's a fantastic young kid. You know, he's a dream to manage, an absolute dream to manage. He puts in all the hard work. He does everything you want a boxer to do. You know, no complaints, and just gets on with it. You know, and I'm glad that he's been able to get a shot, hopefully on TV. Then we've got Ryan Walker, who again, you know, you helped me nurture. You know, we had a setback when we lost to Michael Amoo-Bediako, you know, but that was maybe a step too quick and too far for Ryan at the time. But give the kid respect. He came back, you know, and he had a tough fight to win his Southern Area Super Bantam title. But he done that. He dug in deep, 10-round fight. So, yeah, he's got we've potentially got a fight with Lee McGregor in the offering. Lee McGregor's obviously the super bantam, the bantamweight champion of Commonwealth champion and British champion, but I don't think the belts are on the line. But it's a great opportunity for Ryan, you know, especially in these times where there's not a lot of fights going on. You know, unfortunately, the small hall shows, in my opinion, are not getting the help they should be getting. You know, because they're the lifeblood of boxing. You know, most boxers get nurtured from these small hall shows, and if they don't get help in some way, shape, or form, I mean, I do fear for the boxers and the promoters who've invested so much of their time and money and their livelihood in that side of boxing. You know, it's not just all about the bright lights and the TV.
Because before we go on, have you seen the release from the board today? They want the license fees now. They're not suspending them anymore.
Well, they want the license fees, but at the end of the day, when you pay for a license fee, you're paying for a union. You're paying to be protected as well. You know, so when something like this happens, you look to your governing body to say, right, what are you going to do for us? Because we pay our license fees to fight, or we pay our license fees to promote, you know? So they can't just turn a blind eye or walk away and say, well, we're not going to help small hall shows and not going to help.
I was really shocked with that today, to be honest, because there was the demand that now everybody's got to pay license. Boxers who won't fight till the end of the year next year, promoters who won't promote, whips who won't be whipping. Do you know what I mean?
You can't
won't be managing.
You can't ask for license fees when you don't know when some of these people are going to be working. You know, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I was shocked. I was really,
you know?
really shocked.
Yeah, and more support should be given to these. I mean, some of these boxers don't even know. I saw one of your boxers, Brad Paul's, in Tesco's, funny enough. Right. And I said, how are you? How are you coping? And he said, oh, well, you know what? I've gone and got myself a job. I don't know when I'll be fighting again. It could be March. I really don't know. And now you go and ask him for his license fee. You know, he's got, you know what I mean? He's got more problems. Got to pay his bills. Got to, you know what I mean? A lot of people are out of work. A lot of these boxers have second jobs, you know, that they have to do because they don't earn enough money from selling tickets.
It's going to force more boxers and more people in boxing out of the industry. It's going to, because they're just not going to pay their fees. and they're going to walk away and they won't be applying again. I was really gutted when that happened.
But they should be getting support. They shouldn't be asked to pay fees when they're not fighting, and they can't. Some of them can't even train because gyms are not even open. So how can you ask them for license fees? You know, everybody's struggling here. Everybody's in a difficult situation, which is an unprecedented situation. And these boxers, you know, especially the ones that are on your shows, the likes of Mickey Elliott and all the other ticket selling shows, I mean, these boxers don't survive on boxing. You know, they have to have second jobs, you know. So to take money out of their, whatever they're getting at the minute is scandalous, really.
I was really surprised. So then we move on from Ryan. So the rest of
Ryan. So I've got young Jordan Dujon. He's 4-0. He had a good amateur career for boxing for West Ham. He's a good up and coming super welterweight. You know, maybe come down to welterweight if we can get him down to welterweight. But he's 4-0 now. Then we've got Biggie, who's been so unfortunate. A heavyweight. He's been so unfortunate. You know, he was sparring David Hay, and David Hay was calling him up to spar regularly. He broke his ankle a couple of years ago, and it's just taken him so long to recover from that. He's been back and forth. But now we've got him back, and hopefully, we had him back. He was going to fight on your show, the last one that got cancelled. You know, that's how his luck's going. You know, it's just he could have. For some strange reason, he wasn't on the show before, and in the show on the day that yours got cancelled, and it was just, I mean, it's just symptomatic of what's been happening to him. But I spoke to him a little while ago, and I said, look, just hang in there, you know, the opportunities will come again. So we've got him as well. So that's cool. And obviously, I've got Richard and Duke Micah in America, who we're waiting to get fights for. At the minute, hopefully Richard should return. He's in Ghana at the minute, and the borders are shut, so he can't get out of Ghana. So, but we've got a fight waiting for him in August, September, and Duke should be fighting in September as well.
So, obviously, after doing this job for 10 years, and you've experienced what I've experienced, all the snakes, scumbags, and everything else that are in the industry. And when I tell this to people, they go, "It can't be that bad," and I say, "Trust me, however bad you think it can't be, multiply it by 2 or 3."
Yeah.
And you've experienced it, and we one day you can come out and say some of the things that have happened out of sport, but what have you still got the same passion, and what do you want out of and if you have, what do you want out of boxing going forward?
Yeah, I've still got the same passion because you like I said, when you see some of these kids and all they want to do is to be looked after and looked after properly. They want an opportunity to fight at the highest level they can get to, and if you can give that to them without giving them no rubbish, without spinning them a yarn, it's fulfilling. For me, watching Ryan win a Southern Area champion was just being a Southern Area champion. It was just exciting as watching Richard winning a world title, you know, because it's an achievement. Ryan works really hard for that, you know, coming off a loss, and it's achievement, and it gives you a great buzz to see that over and over again. So I've still got the same passion. There's lots more I want to achieve in boxing, not just one world champion, multiple world champions, but also Southern Area titles. I've never had a British champion. You know, I've only had 1 or 2 Commonwealth champions, but, you know, there's so much more to be able to achieve in boxing. And especially in Ghana, where boxing is very difficult at the moment, you know, it's tough, but they've got so much talent out there. And I'm getting calls all the time for fighters to manage and so forth and so forth. So there's lots of stuff going on. So I'm looking forward to the future.
That's brilliant. Well, Mick, thanks a lot. We'll obviously catch up in the next couple of days, but thanks for doing this interview with us tonight.
No problem. Take care. Thanks, Stay safe.
See you soon, mate.
Take care.
That's my good friend Mickey Amoo, and now a young man who's had 2 pro fights. James Verbeeten. He's turned pro quite a late stage, and just waiting for Mickey to sign out. Yeah, and now we're going to have a chat with James and see what he's been up to during the lockdown. So let's get hold of James. Here he is. Wait for James to join us. 2-0, undefeated. So let's wait for him to catch up and join in. Thanks to Mickey and Billy Rumbol. James, how are you, mate?
How you doing, Steve? You all right?
I'm not bad. What are you up to?
Not a lot, mate. I've just finished training with Paul Devlin, my trainer, and had a quick shower and got ready for this.
So has lockdown affected you? Have you been working through it, or what have you been doing?
Yeah, I've been working all right. Work's been fine. It's slow for about a month, and then we're back to normal, really. But
tell us what you do outside boxing as a job.
I've got a tipper haulage firm, so like do muck away, grab lorries, that sort of thing. So yeah, that's been all right because the construction industry's been ticking along a little bit still. But the boxing's kind of been very slow. Obviously, the gyms are shut. So I've been doing a bit at home with my trainer, and just waiting for it to kick off again, really.
So obviously, I mean, you're supremely talented, but you turned professional very, very late for somebody so talented. So tell us why the late start and what you did in the amateurs beforehand.
I don't know really. I don't really think I was confident enough in that, and I don't think I believed in myself enough. And then I don't know, as I got a little bit older, I kind of got a bit more self-belief in myself, and not just that, also the work situation. The guy Billy Rumbol that was on at the start said about work. It was kind of like that for me as well. You know, you got to put work first, obviously, especially having kids and that. But as I got older, I got in a position where I could sort of go off and leave work and train in the mornings and stuff when I needed to. So I just thought, you know, got to the point where it's now or never, and I just wanted to have a little go at it. And my aim was to have one fight to start with. Done that. Now I've had a couple, and now I just want to see if I can get to kind of getting a shot at a southern area. And if I can do that, then that'd be me done. I think if I can.
Yeah. So you just want a fast track now towards it as quickly as you can, just navigate towards the title shot.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to now. Like, I was supposed to box on the 31st of May, obviously with you. That didn't happen. Doesn't look like I'm going to be out now till the end of the year. I'm lucky, so I think I'm going to have. Well, I don't know. So that's your job, but I'd like to have a couple more fights and then just get chucked in.
So, yeah.
And I'll either get it or I won't, and you know, go from there really.
Yeah. So how have you found professional boxing? What is it like compared to what you expected before you did it?
I prefer it. It's good. I like the fact you've got the date you can work to. The dieting was a bit of a shock to the system. Having to diet. I remember coming and seeing you, and you were like, "What do I box at?" And I was like 68 kilos, and you was like, "Nah, you're not boxing that heavy with me." And when you said what I had to be, like, I was just like, "Fucking hell!" I was just like, "Shit, we're not going to do this." But eventually, after 8 weeks of hard training and dieting, I got to the weight, and yeah, it was good. I realised that was my weight, but.
Is that the hardest? What's the hardest part? Is ticket selling, making weight, fighting? What's the hardest part?
I don't really find the tickets that hard, to be honest. Yeah, I don't really push the tickets. I know I should do, but I kind of, if people want to come and they ask for a ticket, I sell it to them. But I just do it like that. And I've done all right. I don't know what I've done, but I've done well over 100, which was I was happy with. The hardest thing is definitely the dieting, and for me, a little bit of nerves and stuff. I'm not. You know, once I get in there, I'm fine. But, you know, the week before and that, it does get to me a little bit. So I've had to sort of, you know, keep my head and stuff. But no, I'm getting used to it now. I've had a couple. Shame I didn't get the third one in, but I've had a couple and I'm ready to go when it all starts again for definite.
So who are your friends in boxing? Who are your best friends in the sport?
Just all my amateur mates really down at Crawley ABC. My trainer Paul Devlin's probably like my best friend. Obviously I train with all the time, and as far as pros go, I don't really do a massive amount with the pros. I've sparred a few, like Marcus Eaton I do a lot with. I get on with him well.
Oh, he's not a guy, Marcus, yeah.
Yeah, he's a lovely geezer, so he helps me out a lot and comes down sparring. And then I've done a bit with Mark Butler and Kofi, both of you. But other than that, it's the only pros I've really done sparring with. Where I live, I don't live in London, obviously, so it's a little bit more difficult. But as far as best friends in boxing, you know, all my boys down the amateur club and my trainer.
And who's the best boxer you've got in the ring with ever? Amateur, pro, sparring?
Best boxer spar.
Hardest spar?
I used to spar Ben Jones quite a lot. He was good. Obviously, and Hayden Bullock at my amateur gym, he's gonna come good. I mean, I think he did talk to you, didn't he? But he's decided to stay amateur and try and win the ABAs. But he's got a lot going for him, so I think he'd be one to watch out for when he turns over. So yeah, just them two really off the top of my head. With the camera on, I can't think quite straight. But yeah.
Well, listen, you've got to get some practice in front of the camera, because when you start fighting for titles, mate, you're gonna be there. It's gonna be something you have to get used to. So hopefully you're gonna have a good career ahead of you. I know it's fun. Yeah, no, I lost you. Somebody's trying to ring me. It's going to be a lot of fun, the journey over the next 12, 18 months. So.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what I've got. I've got a couple of years left in me, you know, so I'm just going to give it everything and, you know, just see how I get on, really.
Yeah, no, so James, thanks a lot for this tonight. Really appreciate you joining us.
Thanks, Steve. Cheers, Kevin, for getting it sorted, and I'll speak to you soon.
You're a good man. Thanks my friend. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye. So sorry about that. We got the interruption there. Dion June were trying to ring me at the same time as doing this. I'm doing this interview, so that's why a little bit of a block there. But that's James, and now we're going to move on, and we're going to speak with Lewis Syrett, who's let's check what he's been up to, because his career was moving towards titles. Let's have a little chat and see how he's been getting on. Lou, how are you?
I'm good, Steve. How you doing?
Not bad, mate. Not bad. So, how's things with you? How have you kept yourself in shape?
I did at the start. I mean, I kicked myself a bit because I got offered some good sparring recently, and then because I went laid off it a bit, I had to say that I'm not in shape, which is a bit gutting. But at the start, I was probably fitter. I was keeping myself really busy. It was like being a full-time pro. I was training every day and getting up and running every brilliant. But yeah, where I had a bit of time off, I thought, oh, maybe I should use this time off. I might not ever get it again. So
it's true, because I think when you come back when you're 31 now, it's going to be full steam ahead then, isn't it? Once you're back.
Exactly. So maybe have it while I can, because it's not very often we're going to get that.
Yeah. So tell us about your career so far. Just give me an overview as to how things have been pro.
It's been really good for me so far. I mean, I never really expected to box at some of the places and some of the things that I've done as I went pro. To be fair, I didn't even think I was good enough to go pro at one point. I had a lot of bad decisions as the amateurs, and I just thought, oh man, I could never go pro. And then when I did, it sort of felt kicked myself that I didn't do it sooner, because it's been really good. Like I won my debut as a stoppage, and then I have had a couple of close ones. I got involved in a bit of a war, but then you got me the 2 chances where I boxed at the Copper Box and then on the Ultimate Boxer. I mean, it's things that I never dreamed that I was going to do as an amateur. So yeah, it's going well.
Well, and that's something that a lot of pros never get the opportunity of boxing in shows like that, do they? And
no,
they really don't.
I mean, I used to watch when I was an amateur. I used to watch prize fighter, and I used to absolutely love it. And I never thought that I would be doing a similar thing in the future. It was a dream come true. Even though that was my loss, it was a dream come true still.
I mean, yeah, I mean, Sean Robinson's a quality kid, isn't he? So he was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I've sparred a lot of him before.
I mean, he's the one that nearly. I mean, to be honest, he was on top of Donnelly in that 3rd round. Another round.
Yeah.
You know, so you're talking about a quality operator. You had
that was the final for me, really. That should have been the final. It's just the way it was. I think it was 29-28, wasn't it? It was really close.
Yeah. So losing
I got a tough goal, but good opportunity.
What did you learn from that loss, or did you just did you learn anything from it, or because it was a 3-round fight?
Yeah, I did. I did learn. I mean, I've always been a bit of a slow starter, unfortunately. All the time, so I don't know how to solve it yet, but I do know I've got to come out a bit sharp a couple of rounds. I prefer longer round fights. Like the last fight where I had the 6th rounder, I think I performed the best, and I do perform better longer rounds, but I've got to just get myself going, and maybe I've got to warm up for a lot longer or something, but I've got to be sharp from the very first bell. And I think
Carry on.
I think I've got all the training side of it right, but I didn't get the mental side right. I mean, I should have thrown a bit more on the line in the competition like that. I should have put the pressure on Sean a bit more. I think I gave him a bit too much respect. Like, he's a good fighter, obviously, so you've got to show him some respect. But I mean, a chance like that, I should have maybe put it on him a bit more.
Yeah. So
but it was good.
I mean,
sorry,
having the break though, and having time to reflect. What do you, if you were restarting today, what would your aspirations be now? What do you want out of the sport?
Still the same thing as before, really. I mean, to win that Southern Area title, that's like my word title for me. That's really what I want to get out of boxing. I think if I packed up before I'd at least had a shot at that, then I'd kick myself forever. So that's sort of my goal. I mean, anything else from that's a bonus, but that is, if I do that, I'll retire happy with that.
I remember Johnny Garton saying the same thing once. Look what happened to him.
Did he? Yeah, look how well he done. So yeah,
I mean, look, Johnny
never
Garton
know.
was amazing, and to be honest, when he won the Southern Area, to him he thought that was his world, and then he won the English, and then he won the British, and he done phenomenally well, Johnny Garton. You know, so who says you can't do the same?
Yeah, I'd love to follow in his footsteps. I mean, with the Millwall as well.
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought. Yeah. do you go and watch football yourself?
I do. Yeah, I mean, I don't go. I have not a season ticket holder, but I try and get down there like between 6 and 10 times a season. I mean, I watched the game on Saturday, but only from home, obviously. But it's weird. Yeah. Very strange.
How you finding? Like, what do you think live boxing is going to be like behind closed doors?
I don't think it. I think a lot of people tune in because where everyone's been like not had so much to do. I think it actually everyone would watch it. I think they'd like box office sales would probably be a bit more than normal.
Yeah.
But I don't think it would make too much difference because the crowd noise is not really such a thing as it is in football, in boxing. No. I mean, people go there and watch. It's not. It doesn't make that much difference. Yeah. Well, I don't think. We soon find out. But
yeah, we'll soon find out. Well, listen, Lou, thanks a lot for joining us tonight. It's been really good. And
cheers, Steve. Thanks a lot.
Let's hope we can get you that Southern Area title shot fairly sharpish because we're ready to go now.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant.
All right, my friend, look after yourself, and I'll see you soon.
Mate.
Take care, Lou.
Bye.
Thanks, mate. And that was Lewis Syrett, a man that will be fighting for titles without a doubt shortly after his return. Thanks a lot once again for watching tonight. We will be back here next Monday at 7 o'clock. So we look forward to seeing you at 7 o'clock next Monday for another session of Goodwin Live. Thanks for watching.